Imagine your love tonight and watch the world obey your vision. What if I told you that love isn't waiting for you out there, but already pulsing within your imagination, whispering your name, longing to be seen? What if every heartbeat, every sigh, every silent yearning was not a cry of loneliness, but a divine call to create? You are not chasing love, you are revealing it. Tonight, I will show you how to imagine your love so vividly, so faithfully, that the universe must rearrange itself to honor your vision. This is not daydreaming, it's divine creation. So stay with me, because before this speech ends, your love story will begin. Close your eyes for a moment, my friend, and enter that sacred place within you where the world grows silent. The noise fades, the worries dissolve, and only awareness remains. In that silence there lies the secret chamber of imagination. It is not far away. It is not hidden behind stars or clouds. It is here, now, within your own consciousness. This chamber is your true home, the inner temple where everything you have ever loved or longed for begins its journey into form. The love you desire, the one who occupies your thoughts, the tenderness you crave, they are not outside you. They are waiting within, longing for your recognition, yearning to be imagined alive. For imagination is the womb of creation. Nothing enters your life that has not first been conceived by the mind. The world you walk through is but a shadow cast by the light of your inner vision. You may think love will come through a message, a glance, a chance encounter, but it will never come until it is first created in imagination. That is the secret. No one tells you. Your outer romance begins the moment you fall in love with the image within. You see, imagination is not daydreaming, it is divine seeing. When you close your eyes and feel the presence of the one you love, when you hear their voice in the stillness, when you feel their hand in yours and whisper to them in silence, you are not pretending. You are performing the first act of creation. For what is seen inwardly with faith and emotion must clothe itself in the garments of flesh. That is law. But the key is belief. You must believe that your imagination is not powerless fantasy. You must believe that what you create within will one day stand before you. For as long as you think imagination is just in your head, your dreams will remain imprisoned there. But when you awaken to its divinity, when you know that imagination is the creative power itself, then everything shifts. Then love is no longer something you seek, it is something you birth. I tell you, your imagination is not small. It holds galaxies. It builds worlds. It writes the script of your every encounter. Every word spoken to you, every smile, every gesture has its root in what you have imagined about yourself and about others. When you imagine rejection, you prepare its stage. When you imagine devotion, you summon its arrival. So stop looking outward for proof and start feeling inward for truth. Imagine now that the one you love is near, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Don't think of them as distant. Think from the union, not toward it. Feel what it's like to be together. Walk through the corridors of your mind and sit beside them in that secret chamber. Feel their warmth. Hear their laughter. Yet your heart answer theirs. Don't wait for the world to agree. The world will always follow your assumption. When you know you are loved within, you cannot be unloved without. People pray as beggars, asking life to give them what they do not yet feel worthy of. But creation is not pleading, it is assuming. You assume the feeling of love fulfilled and rest in it. You do not ask how or when it will come. You live as though it already has. That is faith in its purest form. And faith, when persisted in, reshapes reality. This chamber within you responds only to feeling. It does not speak the language of logic or timing. It moves to the rhythm of emotion. So if you want love, do not speak of longing, speak the language of fulfillment. Do not say, I want to be loved. Say, I am loved now. Feel the truth of it. Live from it. Because every emotion is a command to your imagination, and your imagination obeys perfectly. When you step into that inner world and imagine your love as real, you are calling forth the power that made heaven and earth. And that power knows no obstacle, no distance, no resistance. It doesn't care what has happened before. It only knows what is now in your awareness. That is why the moment you dare to assume your love fulfilled, the creative process begins. It may seem invisible at first, but everything in your world begins to move to make it visible. You do not have to chase what you imagine. What you imagine faithfully will chase you. You'll find yourself at the right place at the right time, meeting the right person, saying the right words, not because you forced it, but because creation is effortless when you are aligned with it. So tonight, return again and again to that inner chamber. Visit it before sleep. Build your world there. Speak softly to the one you love in the silence of your own being. Feel them respond. Let every breath be a vow, every heartbeat an affirmation that love is alive within you. Then watch as the invisible becomes visible, as thought becomes touch, as imagination becomes reality. You are not waiting for love to come you, or awakening to the love that is already here, sculpted and shining within the secret chamber of your imagination. And as you rest in that sacred awareness, something begins to stir within you, a gentle knowing that love is not something that happens by chance, but by law. There is an order, an invisible harmony that governs the unfolding of every desire, and this harmony is written upon the altar of your own consciousness. You are not a spectator in the theater of love. You are the playwright, the actor, and the audience. Every scene in you. Our romantic story is drawn from what you have accepted as true within yourself. The outer union you seek is born from the inner marriage of thought and feeling. Is a divine law of conscious union that governs all relationships. It declares that you can only experience what you have already united with in imagination. Every bond, every connection, every meeting of hearts begins as a silent agreement within the mind. You may believe you fell in love when eyes met or hands touched, but the truth is far more mysterious. Long before you met them in the flesh, you met them in consciousness. You summoned them through your own assumption of being loved. When you feel yourself cherished, wanted, adored, when you live from that inner atmosphere of affection, you are aligning with the law. You are saying to creation, this is who I am. And because creation always reflects identity, love comes not as a gift, but as a mirror. That is why those who dwell in self-rejection can never find love that lasts, for the law has no favoritism, only reflects. The one who knows themselves to be the embodiment of love will see that love mirrored in every glance, in every word, in every experience. Let your consciousness be your altar. Upon it, lay your offering not of fear, not of doubt, but of certainty. Say within yourself, I am the beloved, I am chosen, I am desired, and hold that feeling as though it were the only truth. For in that silent declaration, the law is fulfilled. You have already created the spiritual prototype of your love, and the outer world must follow. It does not matter what appearances whisper to you. The world may seem cold, distant, or unresponsive, but the law never fails. When you plant the seed of being loved in consciousness and water it daily with faith, the harvest is inevitable. You do not need to force its growth. You only need to remain faithful to your assumption. The soil of the subconscious knows exactly how to bring it to life. This is why imagination and feeling are sacred partners. Thought gives form, feeling gives life. Together they become one creative act. That union is the true marriage. When your thought of love and your feeling of love unite, the conception of your desire is complete. The rest is gestation, the unseen process by which your inner creation moves through the corridors of time until it stands revealed in your world. So if you would transform loneliness into companionship, begin not by searching, but by selecting. Choose within yourself the state of being loved. Live from it until it feels natural. Let your imagination dress you in that identity, and soon the world will treat you accordingly. The law is exact. It delivers not what you want, but what you are conscious of being. The one who understands this law no longer pleads for affection. They do not chase. They do not wait. They create. They rise inwardly to the level of their fulfilled desire and rest there. In the outer world, though it may appear silent for a time, beg. It is to rearrange itself in obedience to that inner conviction. The conversations shift. The circumstances change. The people who once ignored you begin to notice you. Why? Because consciousness has spoken the word and creation must answer. Think of this law as the divine rhythm of love itself. It is always working, always reflecting. You do not have to manipulate it, only understand it. Every moment you feel unworthy, you project separation. Every moment you feel worthy, you invite union. The law cannot contradict itself. It mirrors only what you impress upon it. So let your assumption become your devotion. Each morning, instead of asking, when will they love me? Say, I am already loved. Feel it so deeply that it becomes your natural state. Let your imagination breathe life into that feeling until it glows like fire in your chest. When doubt tries to whisper, smile inwardly and return to your altar. There, reaffirm the truth, I am one with love. You are not waiting for anyone to appear. You are waiting for your consciousness to align. Once it does, the person who matches that vibration must enter your life. They have no choice, for the law of conscious union will draw them irresistibly. What you are within must appear without. And so, every act of imagination becomes a sacred marriage, every feeling of fulfillment a silent vow. As you persist in that inner union, the invisible bond strengthens, until one day, without effort or struggle, love steps out of the unseen and stands before you exactly as you had known it all along within your own heart. And once love stands before you in vision, the next sacred act begins the art of feeling it real. For it is not enough to imagine love as a distant picture or a passing dream. It must be felt as living truth. The unseen must become alive in you through emotion, through conviction, through that quiet certainty that says, it is done. The outer world does not respond to your words. It responds to the vibration of your feeling. You may affirm 1,000 times, I am loved. But if within you the feeling of separation still lingers, you have not yet touched the power that creates worlds. The secret lies in feeling. What you feel as true becomes your reality. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation, is the pulse of creation itself. You may see a scene in your mind, but it is the emotion behind that scene that breathes it into being. You can picture your beloved's face, hear their laughter, even rehearse the words they will say, but unless your heart beats with the certainty of already being loved, it remains only a picture on the wall of your mind. So I say to you, don't merely see the scene, enter it. Don't stand outside your desire, observing it as a spectator, step within it as the main character. Feel the warmth of their presence, the weight of their embrace, the sound of your name spoken with affection. Feel it so vividly that when you open your eyes, the memory of that unseen experience is more real than the world around you. When your inner world becomes more convincing than your outer one, you have crossed the threshold of creation. This is what it means to live from the end. You are not waiting for love to arrive. You are living in the joy of its arrival now. Every feeling, every tone of thought, every word you speak should come from that inner fulfillment. And the beauty of it is when you persist in feeling the wish fulfilled, the outer world must bend to reflect it. It cannot resist, for the outer is only the echo of the inner. You may ask, how can I feel something that isn't yet visible? But the truth is, it already exists in imagination, and imagination is the only reality. The moment you conceive it within, it is born. The senses will tell you it is not yet here, but your feeling declares otherwise. The senses show delay, the feeling proclaims immediacy. Whichever you believe governs your life. If you wish to master love, become loyal to your feeling rather than your senses. When the senses scream absence, close your eyes and return to the feeling of presence. When fear whispers, they don't think of you, answer with calm conviction, I am already one with my beloved. Hold that inner mood as though nothing else exists. For as surely as night gives way to dawn, your persistent feeling will crystallize into fact. Feeling it real does not mean forcing emotion or pretending joy. It means gently sinking into the reality of being loved until it feels natural. At first, it may feel like play. Your mind may argue, this isn't true, but persist gently, night after night, until your imagination feels more like home than your doubts. The moment it feels natural to be loved, creation is complete. You have impressed the subconscious, and the outer must now follow. When you pray, do not beg. When you affirm, do not struggle. Simply feel what you would feel if it were already so. If you would smile, then smile inwardly. If your heart would rest in peace, then rest. If you would speak tenderly to your beloved, then do so within yourself. The inner act is not symbolistic, it is causative. Every inner gesture plants a seed in the infinite soil of consciousness, and what is planted must be reaped. Many imagine love but spoil the harvest through doubt. They imagine union and then question when or how it will happen. That is like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it has sprouted. Trust the process. Once you have felt the wish fulfilled, it is done. Do not disturb it with anxiety. Go about your day with quiet confidence. The unseen forces are already at work. The moment you feel the joy of being loved without needing proof, you have changed your destiny. The outer world must align with that new vibration. It cannot resist the command of feeling. Life always organizes itself around your dominant mood. So tonight, feel it real. Don't wait for the text, the call, or the meeting. Close your eyes and meet them now in the realm of imagination. Feel their voice wrap around your heart. Feel the truth of being chosen, adored, secure. Rest in that feeling until it feels ordinary. For the day it feels ordinary within, it will appear extraordinary without. That is the power of feeling made real, the unseen touching the seen, the invisible taking form through the heartbeat of your own conviction. And when that conviction begins to glow steadily within you, the world will start its quiet test. Appearances will arise to tempt you back into doubt. You will look around and see no sign, no message, no movement, and the mind will whisper, "It isn't working." That is the moment when true mastery begins, the art of detachment from the shadow world. For this outer world, however solid it may seem, is nothing more than the echo of what you once believed. It is the past made visible. What you see now is not what is what was. If you truly understood this, you would not tremble before circumstances. You would know that appearances have no power, for they are merely the old harvest of thoughts and feelings once entertained. To be disturbed by them is to bow to your own shadow. You are not here to wrestle with reflections. You are here to change the light that cast them. So when your senses insist that love is absent, you must turn away, not in denial, but in divine indifference. You must refuse to be hypnotized by the evidence of lack. Instead, look inward to where your love already lives, unseen but certain. The outer is a delayed reflection, but the inner is immediate. It is in imagination that the real story unfolds. The one who understands this law no longer reacts, they create. Detachment does not mean coldness, it means confidence. It is the calm assurance that what is unseen is more powerful than what is seen. When you are truly detached, you do not chase, you do not beg, you do not measure progress. You rest in the knowing that your assumption is reality and all else is fading illusion. Think of yourself as an artist painting a masterpiece. Would you panic halfway through the canvas because it doesn't yet resemble your vision? No, you would continue with quiet faith, knowing the image will reveal itself in time. So too must you continue shaping your inner world without being disturbed by what the outer yet lacks. When you ignore appearances, you shift the power back to imagination. You break the spell of fear. Every time you turn away from the evidence of absence and return to the feeling of fulfillment, you strengthen the bridge between the seen and unseen. The outer must eventually conform, for it cannot defy the law of its origin. The old reality will struggle to hold you, like a shadow trying to grip the light that casts it. It will whisper through memories, through people, through the silence of waiting. It will try to convince you that nothing is happening, but you must answer softly within. Everything is happening, but not where eyes can see. You are not ignoring truth. You are declaring a higher truth. Love, in its divine form, does not arise from reaction, but from revelation. You reveal it by refusing to bow before the mirror. You remain still, inwardly full, outwardly serene. You trust that the law works with mathematical precision. Every assumption persisted in hardens into fact. So, if your world seems unchanged, it is only because the new image is still crystallizing. Hold the vision steady. Do not touch the clay before it sets. Detachment is your protection. When you refuse to argue with appearances, you become untouchable. The world can no longer shake you. You are no longer a reed swayed by the wind of circumstance, but a mountain rooted in conviction. You have seen behind the curtain and know that life is imagination made visible. So you stop reacting and start reigning. When you catch yourself checking for proofs, smile gently and return inward. The outer signs will come, but not because you search for them. They will appear as a natural reflection of your inner state. The gardener does not dig up the seed to see if it grows. They water it, trust the process, and know the harvest will appear. So too must you water your inner vision with faith and feeling, not with doubt and worry. And yes, there will be moments when you feel the ache of waiting, when the silence feels heavy. But that is only the old self dissolving. Do not resist it. Let the feeling pass like a wave and return again to the stillness of certainty. You are not waiting for love to come. You are watching the shadows rearrange themselves to reveal what was already planted within you. Remember, detachment does not mean inaction. It means inner dominion. You may still act, speak, and live, but you do so from the end, not toward it. You speak as the beloved, not the seeker. You walk as one fulfilled, not one hoping. And because your inner tone has changed, every act you take becomes aligned with your vision. The world senses your completeness and responds to it. When you no longer seek confirmation, confirmation rushes to find you. When you stop needing love to appear, love cannot help but manifest. That is the paradox of detachment. It is the silence that makes creation audible. So bless the world that seems empty, for it is only the echo of the old song fading. A new melody is already rising within you, and soon the outer world will learn to dance to it. And as that new melody begins to move through you, a greater understanding dawns, the revelation that love does not come by chance or chase, but by divine selection. You attract, not according to what you desire, but according to who you are conscious of being. The universe does not bring to you what you plead for. It mirrors what you have assumed as true about yourself. This is the sacred mystery of love. You are not drawing someone in through force, but by resonance. Your inner state is the magnet, and every person, every event, every coincidence bends to its pull. You see, no prayer, no ritual, no external act has the power that identity tie holds. You may say, I want them to love me, but if deep within you, you see yourself as unchosen, the law will echo that belief faithfully. It cannot betray your inner confession. The vibration of I am unloved sends forth the same image again and again, no matter how much you wish otherwise. But the instant you accept, I am the one love delights in, the current shifts. Then the world, with all its infinite parts, begins to play the part required to reflect your new identity. Every story of love begins not with meeting another, but with meeting yourself. Who are you in your own imagination? When you think of love, do you imagine yourself waiting, hoping, wondering, or already fulfilled, chosen, adored? That image is your selection. You are choosing every moment the role you will play in the theater of life. The divine selection is not made by fate, but by feeling. And once the selection is made, the rest of the play unfolds without effort. If you would change your love story, change your self-concept, forget about what they think, what they do, what they say. The only transformation required is within you. If you persist in seeing yourself as the beloved, as the one worthy of affection, care, and devotion, the law must reflect it. The people in your life will unconsciously adjust their roles. Some may drift away, and others will be drawn closer, but the reflection will always match the new identity you have chosen. Never believe that another person's love is beyond your reach. That is illusion born of separation. In truth, you are one consciousness wearing many faces. The beloved is not another, they are yourself pushed out. When you change your conception of yourself, you simultaneously change your relationship with them. If you see yourself as adored, then in the unseen depth of mind, they're already adoring you. This is the unseen thread that ties souls together, the thread of consciousness. So do not struggle to make someone love you. Become the version of yourself that is loved. You cannot stand in the identity of lack and expect abundance to find you. You cannot speak the words of love while feeling unworthy of it. You must become loving consciousness first, for only likeness can draw likeness. When you stand in the frequency of fulfillment, everything matching that tone must appear. Close your eyes and see yourself through the eyes of love. Feel what it's like to be chosen without condition, to be seen and valued deeply. Let that vision settle in your heart until it feels natural. That feeling is your new self. And once it becomes familiar, the old self fades like a dream upon waking. The people, the circumstances, even the coincidences of life will conspire to honor this new truth. This is the divine selection, your own conscious choice of identity. The moment you select yourself as loved, creation rearranges. The one who seemed distant feels a sudden pull toward you. The one who once ignored you begins to think of you. The barriers dissolve and OT by your doing, but by the law's precision. You are not commanding them, you are commanding yourself. And because the outer world is yourself in expression, it must obey. But you must be faithful to your new state. The mind will tempt you to return to the old self, to measure progress, to wonder why nothing seems to happen. Do not yield. Remain steadfast in the knowing that you have already been chosen within. Refuse to descend to doubt. Every time you claim your identity as the beloved, the pattern grows stronger, the vibration clearer, the reflection nearer. This is not arrogance, it is recognition of truth. To say, I am the one love delights in is not vanity, it is alignment. It is remembering that you were never meant to beg for affection, but to radiate it. You were never meant to chase, but to attract through being. And soon, without struggle, your outer world begins to echo the music you've been playing within. The face you love will appear not as a stranger's response, but as the mirror of your own consciousness smiling back. The divine selection will have fulfilled itself not because you found love, but because you finally remembered that you were love all along. And as that remembrance deepens, something wondrous begins to unfold within you, a quiet awareness that love is not bound by distance, time, or silence. The moment you recognize that consciousness is one, you awaken to the truth of invisible communion. You realize that separation is an illusion, that the one you love is not out there somewhere, but moving within the same field of awareness that breathes through you. Every thought you hold, every feeling you nurture, every silent word you speak reverberates through that invisible current, touching the one you love in ways no human language can measure. There are conversations taking place in the unseen world, dialogues of the heart that no ears can hear yet shape destinies. When you close your eyes and speak inwardly to your beloved, not in yearning, but in fulfillment, you are not imagining, you are communicating through the pure language of consciousness. Thought is not confined within your skull, it is energy moving through the boundless field of the one mind. What you assume about another becomes the atmosphere they breathe, the vibration they unconsciously respond to. So I say to you, speak lovingly within. When you imagine your beloved, do not dwell on absence, do not replay old hurts or write inner scripts of rejection. Instead, converse as one already united. See them smiling at you, hear them responding with affection. Feel the warmth of that invisible embrace. This is not pretense, it is communion. And if you persist, they will feel it. They may not understand why their heart turns toward you, why memories surface, or why tenderness returns. But the unseen connection will guide them without effort. You see, there is no such thing as unreciprocated love when it is felt from the truth of oneness, the outer rejection, the silence, the DIs. Cancel of it belongs to the old picture that is passing away. The real relationship exists in imagination, where union is eternal. When you dwell there in peace, the outer must mirror it in due time, for nothing can remain unseen once it has been felt as real. Let your inner dialogue be your sanctuary. The world may tell you to wait for a message, but the Spirit whispers that the true message is already being delivered within. When you lie in bed at night, instead of wondering what they are thinking, decide what they are thinking. Give them their lines in the play of consciousness. Imagine their thoughts filled with love for you. Hear them saying, I miss you, I adore you, I can't stop thinking about you. Feel their energy entwined with yours until the two are indistinguishable. If you can feel that conversation is real, it is done. You have sent your word into creation, and it shall not return void. For consciousness is always transmitting, and the receiver is always tuned to the frequency of what you believe. You are not waiting for them to awaken you, or awakening them by assuming they already have. Never underestimate the power of silent communication. Many think telepathy is rare, but is the most natural thing in existence. The moment you imagine someone, you are connected. The instant you feel love toward them, that love travels like light, piercing through walls, oceans, and time. And the more faithfully you hold that loving image, the stronger the bond becomes. The unseen communion becomes the blueprint for the seen. But remember, speak only love. For whatever you speak inwardly is law. If you speak complaint, you send disturbance. If you speak forgiveness, you send peace. If you speak gratitude, you summon harmony. You are always creating through your inner dialogue, and the one you love cannot help but reflect the tone of that conversation. Choose your inner words as carefully as a poet chooses verse, for every thought is a seed that will blossom in your shared reality. When the world appears unchanged, go within and speak again, not with impatience, but with certainty. Say, my love and I are one in perfect harmony. Feel the joy of that truth until it becomes natural. Then release it, trusting that the message has already been received. The bridge between you is invisible but indestructible. Nothing can sever what consciousness has joined. You will find in time that outer communication follows the inner one. A message will arrive, a call will come, a meeting will unfold each as a reflection of what was first spoken in silence. The unseen conversation becomes visible speech. The imagined presence becomes living touch. And when it happens, you will know it was never coincidence. It was the invisible communion made flesh, the word made visible through the power of feeling. So hold your beloved within you, not as a memory, but as living reality. Let every inner dialogue end in love, every vision conclude in peace. For the invisible communio. N is not a dream, it is the eternal union of souls speaking through the divine language of imagination. And as you rest in that divine language of imagination, a quiet miracle begins to unfold, the resurrection of love. What was once only vision now stirs into motion. The unseen takes breath, and the love you held faithfully in consciousness begins to crystallize before your eyes. It does not rush, nor does it strain. It unfolds with the same ease as dawn dispelling night. For what was conceived in the heart must be born in the world, and nothing can stop the birth once the seed of imagination has been watered by faith. There comes a moment, almost unnoticed, when the inner and outer worlds touch. It may appear as a chance encounter, a sudden message, a change in tone or glance, but behind it all, the unseen pattern is revealing itself. You recognize it instantly, for it carries the fragrance of your assumption. It is the living echo of what you once dared to feel real. The world, which once seemed deaf to your desire, now speaks your language, and you realize it was never against you. It was only waiting for you to remember your power. The resurrection of love is not the return of someone, it is the rebirth of your awareness. You awaken from the sleep of separation and see that nothing was ever lost, nothing truly absent. What appeared dead was only dormant, awaiting your recognition. You are the breath that calls the sleeping desire to rise, and when you speak, it is done within your heart. Creation obeys. Every manifestation of love is the reflection of this resurrection. You die to the old state, the lonely, the doubting, the seeking self, and rise into the new, where love is your natural condition. The moment you feel the reality of being loved, the old self loses power. Its fears fade, its anxieties dissolve, its waiting ends. You stand renewed, clothed in the identity of fulfillment, and the world bows to your new vibration. Do not expect the resurrection to arrive with thunder or spectacle. It comes softly, almost shyly, as life does in spring after winter's stillness. A word, a sign, a gesture, and suddenly you know the unseen has become seen. The communion you held within has taken flesh. You no longer imagine their voice, you hear it. You no longer dream their touch, you feel it. You no longer wish they stand before you. But remember, this moment is not magic, it is law. You are not rewarded, you are reflected. What you have faithfully felt as real within must project itself outward. The resurrection is not a gift from another, it is your own creation awakening. You did it all without struggle, without chase, by the power of quiet inner certainty. And because it came through you, it remains by the same law. What imagination brings forth cannot fade, for it is anchored in consciousness, not circumstance. Many will look at your life and call it luck. They will see the manifestation, but not the nights of faith, the quiet moments of inner conversation, the unwavered persistence in love unseen. They will never know that what appears as coincidence was creation, that what they call reunion was resurrection. But you will know You will smile with that secret, knowing that you and your imagination are one. This is the true victory of love, and not possession, but realization. To know that you are the source of every loving experience is to be free forever. You no longer depend on another's behavior or timing. You live in the constant assurance that whatever you assume in love must express. You no longer fear loss, for you have seen that love cannot deed, only transforms. Even if appearances change, even if forms dissolve, the essence of love remains eternal in consciousness, waiting to take new shape when called upon. The resurrection of love is the moment you rise into your divine authorship. You stop asking, when will it happen? And begin declaring, it is happening now. You stop waiting for signs and become the sign. You stop looking for evidence and live as evidence. And as you do, your outer world reshapes itself in quiet obedience to the new rhythm of your being. So when love returns in form, greet it not as a surprise, but as the fulfillment of your own decree. Bless it, honor it, and live from it, knowing it is the mirror of your inner state. For every act of imagination faithfully sustained is resurrection made visible. You have proven to yourself that the power within is greater than any appearance, greater than distance, greater than time. And when you walk through the world now, you will walk with gentleness, for you will see every face as a reflection of your own consciousness. You will love not to receive, but because it is your nature to give. You will no longer imagine to gain, but to create beauty. For once you have resurrected love from within, you understand that creation itself is love expressing through you. And now, as we come to the close of this journey, remember this eternal truth: all love begins and ends within you. The world you see is only a mirror held up to the stage you occupy. What you dare to assume is true in the silence of your heart must appear in the theater of life. You were never chasing love, you were learning to awaken it. You were never waiting for someone to complete you, were remembering that you were always whole. The imagination you once dismissed as fantasy is the sacred womb of creation. Every scene you felt real, every inner conversation you held in faith, every moment you refused to accept appearances, all of it has written the script of your destiny. Nothing happens by chance. Every unfolding is the reflection of your inner certainty. The love you imagined with conviction is now a living thing, breathing through your world. So, walk now with quiet confidence. No longer question, will it happen, but affirm, it is already done. Speak gently to yourself, for your words are seeds in the garden of life. Here's only your feeling. Love, not as a seeker, but as the source itself. And when the evidence appears us, it surely will receive it not as a miracle, but as the natural harvest of your imagination. In this understanding, fear dissolves, waiting ends, and peace takes its place. For you have touched the law that governs all creation, or have seen that imagination and love are one. Live from that truth, and the world will forever conspire in your favor. Everything you once longed for will arise effortlessly, because the Creator now walks awake within the creation. You are not merely imagining your love anymore. You are the love imagined, made real.